Hello, we are live. How are you guys doing? You're watching Art Autopsy. I am your host, Clint Carney. Every 2 weeks, I get on the old YouTube and make some art for your viewer enjoyment. So, anyway, anyone watching at home, I encourage you to get out your art supplies and make some art right along with me, and or participate in the chat. Say hi, tell us who you are, and tell me what you're working on today. Let's see, we got Jennifer in the chat. Hey Jennifer, how's it going? So, of course, I always start off these streams just with my big, sincere thank you to the people that support me over on Patreon. So, thank you, Jennifer, Tango14, Travis, Anthony, Derek, Rachel, Violet, Elizabeth, Jill, Charlie, Misty, Donna, Necrotechnicon, Stormy, Brian, Sarah, Susie, and Julie. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Um, yeah, I'm going to give it just a few minutes for people to catch up or to join, and then we'll get going. So anyway, let's see. We got Michael Garcia in the chat. What is up? So if you do make some art during the live stream, email it to me. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I share art from my viewers at the top of every live stream. So with that in mind, I do have some viewer art. I don't think he's in the chat, at least not yet, so hopefully he'll come in and find this. But this is the art submission from Jimmy Arbaugh, who is a longtime viewer, and Jimmy has submitted some physical traditional art before, and now he's submitted some of his digital work right here, which is super cool. So Jimmy, if you are watching, or if you see this later, if you're watching live, tell us about your process for making these in the chat. Or if you find the video later, tell us in the comments what your process is like for making your digital art. So really cool stuff. Really dig it. And let's see, just a quick promo here. For those of you that don't know, I've got a website, clintcarney.com, and that's where you can find links to this channel, links to my Patreon, to my music, my art, all kinds of stuff. So clintcarney.com, check it out. Now, the painting that I am going to, oh wait, before I get it, well, we'll get it, never mind, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So I have a few art shows coming up, group shows that I'm going to be a part of. And one of them, I have a drop off in 2 or 3 weeks. But I wrote on my calendar that I needed to start this piece tomorrow. So I figured, hey, why not actually start it today? That being said, oh, let's see, we got Sarah in the chat. Hey, Sarah, thanks for joining. So that being said, I thought I would, since I have to do this painting anyway, and the timing was lining up with Art Autopsy, that I would start this painting as part of Art Autopsy. And I sketched it out earlier. I'm going to show you a little time lapse of me doing the sketch, and then we're going to get into the painting. But just for fun, I'm not going to tell you what it's a sketch of. I'm just going to let the time lapse rip, and then see who can guess what it is first over the course of the sketch. It's a time lapse. It's only like a minute, so we'll see. Just sound off in the chat once you think you know what this is, and you'll find out very soon if you are correct. Oh no! Oh no! My hold on a second. My my time lapse isn't loading. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to put it on hold for a second, try to fix this. Actually, I don't know if I can do that. Hold on. You're probably just going to watch while I muddle through my technical difficulties right now. And if it doesn't start up, this is going to be a very sad day. Where is it? It is not playing. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, there goes that bit of fun. I'm just going to have to show you the sketch then, because apparently me trying to live stream my time lapse is not working out so great. Let's see. Sarah says, Necrotechnicon and I are on our way to go see Ego Likeness, so we're not going to be able to be here, but we'll keep checking in on the progress. Oh, well, that's awesome. That should be a fun show. Tell those kids from Ego Likeness that I say hello. Oh, Michael says, super time lapse. Does that mean that it played for you? Because I'm not seeing it play on my screen. I'm going to assume that it didn't play. So I'm just going to skip ahead to the sketch, and you'll have to see the time lapse when the painting is finished, and I'll post the whole time lapse, including the sketch. But anyway, here we go. This is how the sketch turned out. So you might be able to guess what this is from. It is going to be a Mars Attacks themed show. So I thought I would do one of these alien guys from Mars Attacks wreaking havoc on a video store. So he's blowing shit up and there's VHS tapes flying everywhere. I really wish that time lapse would have loaded. But anyway, so this is the sketch. I want to also show you guys kind of, hopefully this will load. This is kind of like one of the things I put together, right? So I go to Google Images and I just grab a bunch of different reference photos. And I do this a lot of times, depending on what I'm painting. And then I'll take this kind of collage and I'll either print it out or I'll put it up on my iPad, and that way I can just kind of reference it throughout. So this, I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, kind of the references that I put together. And then, you know, so there's just pictures of everything online. So you can pull up references, and then as you can see, I turned it into, you know, an original design here. I'm going to adjust my camera a bit. There we go. So for any of you Mars Attacks fans out here, this is what we're going to do today. Before I start painting this, I just want to show you how the painting from last week is shaping up. Still a lot of work to go on this. The camera's too close to see the whole thing, but you can see I started kind of detailing and working on the texture up here. And then as it gets down further, I didn't do anything on the bottom yet, so that's all still very rough. But you can see up at the top, this is starting to come together. So slowly but surely, that one is coming together. And yeah, now we're going to paint some Mars Attacks aliens. Okay. First things first, I'm going to load up my palette with some different colors. This is going to be a very red. And oh, Jennifer saying my sound cut out. Looks like I might have frozen. Oh goodness, technical difficulties abound. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. I see it on my sound panel here. Let me know when the sound comes back on, if ever. It's back. Charlie says it's back. And Jennifer says it's back. And Sarah says it's back. All right, thank you guys for letting me know. It has, my YouTube has frozen up here. I got to refresh. All right, hey, this is apparently going to be the episode of technical difficulties. All right, so far, cadmium red, light hue, and next is going to be dioxazine purple, which is a color I don't work with a lot, but I wanted to throw some purple in on this one. And then also along the purpley line of things, I'm going to throw in some magenta. And I'll show you what my palette's looking like once I got all of this stuff squeezed out so you can see it all. You can see that it starts nice and orderly and rapidly descends into chaos as things mix together. Cadmium yellow. One of these days I'll get a third camera that just points at my palette, but I don't know. That's kind of limited appeal, I guess. I don't know. Lemon yellow hue. Phthalo green. And green yellow. And let's see, Jennifer asks, you are jumping right in with color on this painting? Yes, yes I am. I thought, why not? I had a good time doing that on those little mini paintings that I did a while back, just jumping right in with color. So why not keep that going? And then titanium white. Which this tube is drying up fast for some reason. It's getting harder and harder to squeeze out. And then ivory black. And the titanium white and the ivory black that I'm using are alkyd oil paints, which means they are a faster drying oil paint. All the rest are the old standard drying oil paints. And I'm also going to squeeze out a little of Winsor Newton Original Liquid. So guys, sound off in the chat. Tell me what you guys are working on. What, as always, this thing is, hey, the lid for the liquid is always my arch enemy. What are you guys working on? Let me know. Or have you worked on any art in recent history that you'd like to tell us about? All right, here's the palette. Cadmium red, light hue, dioxazine purple, magenta, cadmium yellow, lemon yellow, phthalo green, green yellow, titanium white, ivory black, and a big old glob of liquid. So there you, oh man, I just realized the live, man, I'm just having so many technical difficulties today. There's such a delay on my camera here that I think I wasn't holding that. I don't think it was visible to you guys. Okay, here we go. There's the palette. Soon to get messed up, but there we go. Let's start painting. So kind of what I'm thinking on this is, you know, his outfit is mostly green, and if you were to look at a color wheel, and I don't know where my color wheel is, but trust me, the opposite of the tone of green I'm going for is basically purple. That's why I'm going to be using these purples and magentas. So central to our image, the character is going to be mostly green, and he's going to have essentially a purple-ish color surrounding him. And then as our third set of colors, it's going to be like a fiery blast coming from behind him and out of his blaster here, and that's going to be more of a yellow with these splashes of cadmium red in there. So that's the plan right now. Will I stick with that? Who knows? You and I will find out together. Let's see. Let's see. And Michael says he's working on a female creature type mask, sketching it out for his next fusion mask project. Excellent. And Sarah is working on not dying in New Jersey traffic. The art of not dying in New Jersey traffic. Well, good luck to you on that front. All right. And I got my jar of odorless terpenoid over here. Let's select a brush to start with. I'll tell you, my brush caddy is in severe need of organizing. I did see like a little trick on like an Instagram video the other day that said if you boil water and then dip your synthetic brushes in it for 30 seconds, it can help revitalize the shape. So I tried it out on a few brushes and it worked for like right up until the brushes dried, and then they went back to their old shapes. So, you know, for whatever that's worth. All right, let's see. So these are, he's going to be like in the aisle of a video store is the idea here. Uh, if you could see I was going to talk it through when I was doing the time lapse, but since that didn't play, I started with just like a single dot, right? And this is our vanishing line. And then from there, you know, use a ruler and you draw out from there. And this is just to get the perspective of the shelves in the video store. So there's going to be one shelf coming out this way, one shelf coming out that way, and then this big explosion behind him, and then all of these videotapes are going to be flying all around. And yeah, that's what I got. Let's paint. Let's talk more rock. Okay, might as well start with his noggin. And I'm just going in, making bold choices to start with. And hopefully, if all goes well, by the end of this live stream, we'll have the whole canvas covered in paint, saturated and waiting to dry for the next step. So I'm just looking at those reference images I got over here on ye old iPad, and then back at my sketch, which you can see is super rough. I just sketched this with this this white, they call it a China marker. This is like a film tool thing used on film sets or whatever. Actually, the tip of it's more of a waxy pencil than it is a marker, but that's what it's called. The tip broke off, so I actually just drew the whole thing in that. Super rough, but gets the job done. And I kind of sketched him with his mouth closed, but I might want to open it up because these aliens look pretty cool with their mouth open. So yeah, this art show is, you know, actually, I was right about to talk about it, and then I realized they haven't announced the show yet, so I don't think I can say too much about it yet. But go follow me on the old socials and stuff, and I think any day now I will be posting the promotional material for it as soon as they announce the show. And of course, to the awesome folks who follow me over on Patreon, I will tell you guys all about it first. But yeah, it's a show themed around Mars Attacks, and so, which is a movie I haven't seen in a long time, so I'm actually overdue to go back and watch that movie. And working on this painting will probably get me in the mood to do so. In fact, I don't think I own Mars Attacks, so I might have to figure out where it's streaming or rent the damn thing. Apparently one of my neighbors is leaving leaf blowing. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is quite loud over here. Hopefully it's not picking up too much on the microphone. You know, I might, since this is a kind of a small canvas and there's a lot of detail in this piece, I might actually switch to a smaller brush. Just start out with a smaller brush. Oh, so many brushes on my brush thing here, and I'm dropping them left and right. I am just a big old mess today. All right, maybe this one. Why do I have this many brushes? I have no idea. I just keep buying them. Like they start to wear down and I buy new ones, and then I never quite throw a brush away until I've absolutely destroyed it, and hence I just amass all of these brushes. So my wife and I recently started watching the HBO show The Pit. Have you guys seen that one? It's like a show about a emergency room in Pittsburgh, and it's so intense. It is crazy. It gives you a whole new respect for the people that have to work in that environment. Anyway, it's pretty insane, but also the makeup effects in it are gnarly. So really good. In fact, I've been meaning to look up and see what makeup team has done those effects, because they are pretty good. That as like a makeup effects person, that kind of show, like a medical show, is probably one of the cooler jobs you can get, because it's all like, you know, just super gnarly wounds and stuff. I've never worked on a medical show myself, but anyway, I like the show is the point. Very intense though. Very stressful to watch. I really need to figure out a better camera position so that most of the video isn't just watching my ear in the one camera as I paint. I'll figure that out one of these days. So other than all that stuff, I finally just today signed a contract on a new movie that I'm going to be working on. Very excited about that. Unfortunately, can't tell you what it is because, you know, non-disclosure agreements and stuff, but it will be the biggest one of the year so far, so that's good. I always need to land at least one big movie a year to keep the lights on. And for those of you who don't know, I do a lot of visual effects for film and television, as well as the occasional bit of art for film and TV. But these days, it's mostly been visual effects. Riding the last wave of the death of the film industry, sadly. I wish it weren't so. mix up kind of like a brown color. And for that, I'm going to take a little bit of cadmium red and just throw in a little bit of phthalo green. And just drawing his gum line right there. Michael asks, Clint, have you seen, I'm not going to try to pronounce that one. It's an Indonesian Friday the 13th knockoff film. I have not seen it, nor have I heard of it. Is it any good? Yeah, I'll have to, well, I'll wait for your recommendation one way or the other, and then we'll see. We'll see if I'll watch it. I've also been watching wise. I swear I don't actually watch a ton of TV, but I slowly make my way through shows. But the missus and I have also recently started Bored to Death, which is pretty funny so far. That's guess it's a 3 or 4 season show. It's already off the air, but it has Ted Danson, Zach Galifianakis, and Jason Schwartzman. And yeah, pretty fun so far. I like all 3 of those actors a lot, so. You know, one unknown question to me on this painting is whether or not I'm going to go into a lot of detail on the VHS tape selection inside the video store. I know there was some concern, just based on the contract I got to sign with the gallery about, copyright stuff. They didn't want to do copyright infringement, which is a weird thing to say when you're doing a show based on a movie. But hey, so I want to avoid logos and things like that, just to make sure that the gallery feels good about it. But that doesn't mean I can't do visual elements that might clue us into what some of the posters or VHS tapes might be. So I'll have to decide on that once we get further along. That level of detail, though, in terms of doing really tiny box art and stuff like that, that's going to come in a separate session. And then also, if I do go that route, I'll want to pull up some references. And by that, I mean I'm going to want to turn around and, just pull some VHS off my shelf. Man, my YouTube keeps freezing. Is it freezing for you guys? Did it stop? Did my friggin' live stream stop? Oh my god. What? I can't tell if I'm live or not. I just refreshed the page and it looks like it stopped. Someone tell me in the chat if I'm still live or if this is dead. Now it's back. I don't know what is going on with my computer today, but okay. So for his skin tone here, I'm using so far just a combination of phthalo green, green yellow, titanium white, and lemon yellow, and then just thrown in so far just a small amount of cadmium yellow. And for the purple outline, that's that just purple, dioxazine purple. Yeah, even before the stream, I had about 10 minutes of panic when I couldn't get my streaming software to connect to YouTube. So I thought I was shit out of luck. But then at the very last minute, right as 7 o'clock rolled around, I was able to connect to it. So I will assume that the error is all on my computer's part, being as you fine folks are able to see everything without any errors. So yeah, their faces are this greenish color, but then the brains themselves seem to kind of go off into a more brainy type color. I always thought this design for the alien was really fun. It was kind of reminiscent of the Metaluna aliens from this island Earth, just in terms of having that big brain thing. It's kind of like a combination of those aliens and the skull. So pretty fun character design. You know, if I were super smart, I would have started with the tapes up here, and then instead of starting his face, because now I'm setting myself up to be pressing my hand into his face as I go, but it is too late. It is too late for such things. We'll just have to be extra careful as we get up there. Anyone see This Island Earth, by the way? It's an old film, I think from the 50s, if I had to guess. Um, but really cool alien design for that. I mean, very distinctly, you know, that era of filmmaking kind of design. But I always liked it. I always thought it was a cool, you know, as far as the guy in a rubber monster suit designs go. And if you haven't seen it, if you look it up, I bet you've seen pictures of the alien before, because it's been turned into Halloween masks over the years and all kinds of stuff. So there's toys of it and everything. But yeah. We'll see how time goes on this painting too, in terms of how fast I get finished with it, because I would love to do some kind of a custom frame for this piece as well, but I'm going to have to save the final verdict on that for when the painting is done, and how much runway of time I have left before it has to be dropped off at the gallery. Because it would be cool to, like, you know, sculpt some of these little dudes and put them around the frame maybe, or have like physical little miniature tapes coming out. You know, in that case, I'd probably build those in Blender and 3D print them. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be a fun piece with or without a custom frame, but a custom frame always makes things fun. Let's see, Michael says, I have seen Night Beast and the Galaxy Invader. I don't know if I've seen those ones. Although I've seen so many at this point, sometimes it's hard to remember all the titles. I did have some recent good VHS acquisitions. I just got Ghoulies recently on VHS, which I did not own on VHS up until very recently. I got The People Under the Stairs, which I feel like is me repeating a buy because I know I have it somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it in so long. I just went ahead and rebought it. And then The Video Dead, which is a very hard movie to find on VHS at a reasonable price. It's normally like $200 or $300 on eBay. It's crazy, but I found one. Someone sold it to me for $30, so the price was right. It is really nuts how expensive some of these rarer VHS has got. I can't bring myself to spend a crazy amount of money on them, but knowing what the price is normally on that one, I knew I had to jump at the $30 version. Brain is a little tedious, and I'm sure already that I'm going to be repainting this brain over and over again, trying to get the look of it right, but gotta start somewhere. And the brain alone, all that, the head alone is going to contain a lot of the colors that are going into the painting. Oh, Michael got Child's Play 2 at Goodwill. Excellent. It's always cool when you can find a good old movie for cheap at a thrift store. There's actually a video store in town where I live. One of the last ones around. And there's also an antique mall nearby that has a couple booths that always have VHS. But I've found that lately everybody just checks eBay prices first and then prices things according to that. So it is increasingly harder to get a good deal on VHS, but always on the lookout for something I don't have. Okay, this is just for the sake of those who are just joining us. You are watching Art Autopsy. It's a bi-weekly art stream. I'm your host, Clint Carney. I do a lot of work in the film and television industry, and every 2 weeks I get on YouTube and I make some art for your viewer enjoyment. I encourage everybody watching at home to get out your art supplies and make some art with me. And if you do, email me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. Show me a picture of what you created and I will share it on a future episode. At the top of every episode I share viewer artwork. So yeah, send it my way. He's feeling a little flat right now. Let's add a little bit of brighter spots into his forehead here. See if we can't bring out some dimension. It's hard to paint this kind of alien and not make him cartoony, just because by the nature of its design, it's kind of this cartoonish, exaggerated creature. But it's a fun shape. But I'll see if I can bring an element of realism to it eventually as the layers get stacked onto each other. But we'll see. But between the design and the vibrant colors that I'm going to be using on this beast, he might always retain his cartoonish nature. We'll see, but we just about have a full alien head in here. And so these aliens have like a glass dome that goes over them. And I'll just reinforce my outline here for the dome probably shortly, although I'll want to get a grasp on what the colors are going to be behind the dome before I full on paint it. So again, he's in a video store. There's shelves on these sides, and there's going to be an explosion behind him, which is flying all of these VHS tapes at the screen. So I think what I might do, I talked earlier about having kind of more of like this purple theme surrounding it. So maybe we'll have more of a fiery explosion here, and then it's just going to be kind of like a mass of colors exploding out behind it. And we'll put some detail into the shelves and into the tapes, but maybe just keep these just like exploding blotches of color. Just give it more of a designy feel to it. As you know, if you watch all the time, I like to talk out loud about what I think I'll do and then do the complete opposite of that. But that's where I'm leaning at the moment. We'll see. This reminds me too, because it's primarily going to be a purple and green color scheme. I was watching, again, this was probably just like an Instagram reel or something like that, or on Facebook, and it was a comic book artist or someone in the comic world who made an interesting observation that I had never considered before, and that was across a lot of different superheroes, both DC, Marvel, and the other imprints, that the heroes tended to always have primary colors, red and blue and yellow and so forth, and that the villains always used secondary colors or tertiary colors. And it never occurred to me before, but he was absolutely right, because the more, I mean, obviously you can think of exceptions to that rule, but I think with this color scheme I'm doing here on these guys, the green and purple, obviously right off the top, that's like Mysterio, the Joker, Dr. Octopus is green. I'm sure you can think of many examples, but I thought that was interesting, that it makes me wonder how much of that was premeditated, or if that's just kind of like a psychological thing where when you're creating a hero, your brain just thinks of the primary colors. I don't know. Anyway, but it's an interesting way that comic book artists, intentionally or not, separated the good guys from the bad guys just in their color choice alone. I found it interesting, at least. Let's see. Michael says, still love watching VHS tapes and DVDs and Blu-rays. Yeah, me too, man. I love physical media. Obviously, you can see the just the tip of the iceberg on the VHS collection behind me, but I also have a lot of Blu-rays and DVDs and so forth. But nowadays, sometimes I'll get lazy though, right? And even if I know I have something, I'll on Blu-ray, I'll look for it streaming first and then go to the Blu-ray if I can't find it. But if I know I have something on VHS, then I go right for the VHS. Okay, I'm going to start in with just some color here, some big blasts of color. But first, I'm just going to reinforce the outline of this of his glass helmet so I don't lose it. This is going to mostly get painted over, but I wanted to, so I'm probably going to have to continually go back and reinforce this line, but I don't want to lose track of it too much. And for anyone curious, the initial sketch on this painting was right around 15 minutes, so not long at all. Again, just using those references from Google Images, not for the design of the painting, but or the layout of the painting, but just for the character and to try to get his accessories correct and things like that. Because again, it's been a while since I've seen Mars Attacks. Don't know that I could have drawn him from pure imagination very accurately. In fact, I can guarantee you I could not have. Let's see. That's right. He's got like these oxygen tanks on. So we'll try to leave some room for the oxygen tanks. And those are like a red. But behind that is going to be the fiery explosion. So I'm just going to start layering this in. The one thing about this lemon yellow that I'm using is it's a very thin paint. It doesn't have a lot of opacity to it, so I'm going to end up throwing a little bit of titanium white in there with it just to make it a little more opaque. I do like the color, but I need to get a more opaque version of this color for it to be truly useful, but we will make do. And then just come in with a little cadmium yellow on top of the lemon yellow. Again, this is just this explosion behind him. I'm not going to work the whole explosion right now. Again, I don't want to get too much paint on the bottom of the canvas yet, because I'll inevitably end up smearing it with my hand, but just starting here so I can start working out a blast of color coming from here. So we're going lemon yellow, cadmium yellow. I think now we're going to take it into this cadmium red light hue, which is more of an orangey cadmium red. I'm just going to let that blend right in with the yellow a bit, and then even bring more of this cadmium yellow back in to give it a nice orange. And again, as I mentioned, we'll periodically be reinforcing the line here of the glass helmet as I erase it, just to make sure it doesn't get too lost in the mix. And then I think what we're going to do next is just get crazy with it and go from this cadmium red light hue into full-on cad red, just a real bright burst of red. and just be a little more abstract with the rest of the background here that doesn't have the tapes and stuff on it. Maybe even bring some green back into the background and just really make some bold color choices now. And try to work around my flying VHS tapes. The Creative Fox has joined. Thank you so much. I am using oil paint. Here is the palette right here. So yeah, it's all oil paint, and I've got a little bit of liquid as a medium that I'm mixing with it, which helps spread it out a bit and accelerate dry time along the way. Even still, when you use oil paint, there'll come a time where the canvas is just so saturated, and that's the stream stops when the canvas gets so saturated that I can't add any more paint without smearing it. But yeah, love working in oils. Okay, so I'm thinking like I'll keep going. I'll bring in some little splashes of red, but now I just want to get kind of crazy and abstract with the color in the background, and even start to pull in some more greens and magentas into this background, so it's like a big colorful explosion. I'm going to have to this is a future stage of the painting, but I'm going to have to think about whether or not I want to have any of the videotapes on fire or not. Maybe, but I'm liking this already. I mean, it's looking pretty fun with just these little pops of color. Starting to feel like a paint by number now. All right, I'm gonna do some green as part of the explosion now, and this is gonna be my thought behind it is like maybe this is I don't know, it's a sci-fi thing, so it's like some kind of space goo exploding with the flames as well. Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't have to have a real reason behind it, does it? It just has to look cool. So throw in some phthalo green. And obviously I'm getting sloppy going around some of these tapes, and so, but as you know, my sketch was so rough anyway. I'm not going to be too precious about it. I can always redraw anything that gets painted over. And then I'm saving the border for the more purple and magenta stuff. So just so we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting explosion of colors, and I'm taking a gamble that it will all work. It might not, but that is okay. You gotta make bold choices sometimes, and sometimes they don't work out, but that's part of the fun, is figuring it out, right? Will it work? Won't it work? All right, now let's go in with some purple. So the videotapes are obviously these are going to be like out of the case tapes, so not with the cardboard sleeves, so that I don't have to do cover art on 100 different tapes. I'll just do cover art on a few of the tapes. But that being said, videotape plastic is typically black. But in this case, just for the sake of the color scheme here, it's going to be more of a purple. So I'm going to go with like a lighter purple on the outside, and then the tapes are going to be kind of like a darker purple So I think, at least, but always subject to change depending on how it looks once I actually put the paint down. And because I want these colors to be so vibrant, I'm trying not, I don't want to mix them too much together. I mean, there's a little crossover here and there, but I want to keep these colors pretty bold. And then as I get into future sessions on this painting, I can blend anything that needs to. But this kind of explosion of color doesn't really make sense in the real world, but I like it, so I want to keep these colors separated. If you were to let these colors mix together, they'll get real muddy real fast, and you start mixing the purple with the red and all that stuff, everything's just going to turn brown, and that's not the look you want for like a colorful kind of painting like this, or it's not the look I want for a colorful painting like this. Now, if you mess up and you accidentally get some color crossed over where you don't want it, it's still okay. Everything is salvageable, but at a certain point, you just have to let paint dry before you can fix certain things. So. Okay, and then I'm just going to, so this paint's pretty wet on here. I'm just going to get some titanium white on my brush, and I'm going to drag it through here for some highlights and just go ahead and let it blend with the paint that's already on there, the canvas. Yeah, so far so good. All right, let's tackle one of these tapes up top at least and just try to get a feel for it. I got to grab a new rag. This one is so soaked in paint now. I'm just wiping paint onto my hands instead of wiping paint off of my hands. Okay. Look, maybe I'm just going to show you guys a VHS tape here for those of you who don't know what they look like, and also, hey, it will help me just to have one there for reference. But so I guess for the younger people in the audience, this is what a video cassette tape looks like. So mostly on here, you'll have a label, and then you'll have these little windows where you can see the reels in there. So that's what all of these ones up top are going to be. Maybe there'll be some that are in their sleeve, but most of them are going to be out of their sleeve. This particular VHS, anybody know this film? This is kind of a one not a lot of people know. It's Cameron's Closet. This was written by, it's based on a book by Gary Bradner, who also wrote the book that The Howling is based on. And it's a mixed bag. I really like the movie, but some of the effects in it, like the monster in it, doesn't look that great. But then it also has some really good scares in the movie too. And I think the awesome scares in the movie outweigh the sometimes goofy looking monster. So, all right, I'm going to take a yardstick here and just use this to rest my hand on so that I don't press my palm into the paint. And then I'm going to do my best attempt here to paint some straight lines. Although, not my strong suit. Okay, so there's these two windows on the sides where you can see the tape underneath, and they have a little bit of a curve to them at the side. And then for right now, at this stage, I'm not going to put any text on the labels or anything like that. I'm just going to hint at them with shapes. And then I'm just going to decide later if they're going to want, if they're going to need that level of detail or not. By the way, this is a book I've recommended to my viewers before, but I will, at the risk of repeating myself, I will say it again. If you feel that you are not good with perspective, not only perspective like this, where it's a one point vanishing point thing, but multiple point vanishing points, but beyond hard line objects, even down to the perspective of the human anatomy or whatever, read the book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Even if you're not into comics at all, doesn't matter. It is a very good resource for drawing things in perspective. Always recommend it to artists who are starting out, or even artists who've been around for a while but are struggling with that kind of thing. I honestly lost track of how many times I've bought that book because I like having it on hand, just to have, and then I always end up giving it away when I find an artist that needs help with that sort of thing. So maybe I'm single-handedly keeping that book in print. I don't know, but it's a good one. I don't know, or maybe that's just me being old. Do kids these days still learn from reading books? I don't know. Maybe everyone just watches YouTube tutorials these days. But if you're the type of person that learns from reading books, then it's a good one. Back when I was about to say when I was learning art, I'm still learning art. You know, it's an ongoing, lifelong process. But when I was younger and not even starting to learn art, but halfway through my journey, uh, the had to just go to the library, and learn about art that way because the internet wasn't around. And now you realize that I am older than the internet. Okay, if you haven't figured that out yet. I think I want to. I think I want to bring a little bit of blue into this as well. I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to squeeze out some manganese blue onto my palette as well. Get crazy with it. I just want a little bit in here to help me with these tapes. I'm trying to avoid actually using black on the tapes, although I probably will eventually. just mix a little of this blue with some white. So there's two reels on the side of the tapes, right? So as the movie plays, one reel unwinds and the other reel spools up with that. So one side, if it is a freshly rewound tape, will have very little reel on it, and then the other side will be more filled up. And right as I said I was going to try to not use black, I wasn't even thinking, and I just went ahead and put black on there. So here we go. Our tape. The tape itself is black. Oh, random flex here too. I actually, when I got that Video Dead VHS for so cheap, once I popped it in my VCR, it crumbled apart. Basically, it came off the reel, which now I realize is why I got it for so cheap. But I, for the first time, successfully took apart a tape and re-spliced the reel together and fixed it. So now it plays perfectly. But now I know to look for that before I make a purchase. But in a pinch, I can now repair VHS tapes, which is a skill set that I didn't know I needed. Okay, yeah, I'm going to start introducing a little bit of black into this tape as well, just to, or into the plastic casing, just to help out with the shading a bit. You know, still keeping it predominantly purple. Okay, well, there's one tape down-ish. And hundreds more to go. Not really hundreds, but probably 20 more to go. Let's see, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right up top in this explosion zone. Some of them smaller than others. Let's see, Michael says, I know they have different color VHS tapes, but are you doing all of them black? Yeah, I am doing all of them black because the whole colored VHS tape thing is kind of a newer phenomenon. And I mean, even though, you know, there are some older tapes that were in color, but the kind of tapes, but those would be like collectors pieces that you would buy at a shop, but the kind of tapes that you would have as rentals in a video store were always black tapes. And since this scene takes place inside of a video store, keeping it somewhat authentic. That's the idea, at least. Probably overthinking it, but hey, the devil's in the details. And after I get a few of these tapes under my belt here, they'll start coming together faster. Theoretically. Let's see. Michael says, I just have trouble drawing fight scenes because I know draw out at good of, sorry, getting lost in your writing there, of characters talking to one another, but not a fight scene. Oh, I get you. I get you. Yeah, and actually that book, the Marvel, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, is another great resource for drawing fight scenes or characters interacting with each other in general. Um, that's one thing that always impressed me about good comic book artists. Obviously, you have some artists are good at, are better than others at very specific things. But in general, if you're going to be a comic book artist, you kind of got to know how to draw everything, because in any comic book, you're not only going to have to draw characters, but you're going to have to draw buildings and vehicles and weapons and animals, and you really got to be a well-rounded artist to be a comic book artist. When I was much younger, that was one of the things that I wanted to do at some point in time. And I did draw some of my own comics, but didn't take me long to realize my shortcomings as an artist when doing that. Maybe one of these days I'll go back to it now that I've had some more experience and try my hand at it again. But it is tough. But I don't really, I mean, I used to read a lot of comics when I was younger. Not so much in my adult life. Every now and again I'll check out a graphic novel or something, but mostly I just read, books. I'll throw a little splash of magenta behind these tapes too, just to pop it out a little bit from the background. Just let that magenta flow right into the purple. That way the purple tapes don't get too lost. And even brighten up some of this cadmium red a bit. Jennifer says, please be kind, rewind. Yes, indeed. It always amazes me still, even to this day. I'll get, I'll buy a VHS tape and it will be like halfway through the film. So people are still not rewinding in this day and age. Although I guess a lot of times when someone's selling VHS, they might pop it in a VCR just to play it for a bit first to make sure it plays before they sell it, which is nice. Let's see, and for the ones, so the smaller VHS, that's obviously going to be, those ones are going to be further in the background. So the further they go into the background, then I got to consider, well, how close are they to this explosion that's happening in the background? And if I suspect that they're going to be somewhat close to the background, then I'm going to have to think about, is there a side of the box or of the tape that's going to catch some of the light, from the explosion? And then I have to put that in. So like right here, this angle, I think is going to catch a little bit of that light. So I'm going to just give that a little bit of a yellow coloration to it. Travis says, I would always fast forward before returning. That is my brother, folks. He says that, but I doubt it. I don't think he would. He's too nice. He's too conscientious for that dick move. They used to make separate machines too, and all of the machines that were just tape rewinders, which was always interesting to me because it really doesn't take that long to rewind a tape. So if you need a separate machine just to rewind the tape, that means you're just binging one film after another without pausing for air in between. I always need the break in between a movie. Okay, 3 tapes down. Ooh, I set myself up for a very tedious painting with this sketch. I didn't think that one through. Oh, Jennifer says we had a tape rewinder, and my stepdad swore it was because the VHS caused extra wear and tear that the rewinder somehow did not. Well, yeah, that's actually valid, um, because every time the tape stretches across the playhead in a VCR, you run the risk of dirt and mold, which can happen on VHS tapes, transferring over into your playhead, which is why you would also have to buy these separate cleaning tapes to run through your VCR just to clean off the playhead. So, yeah, actually, that does make sense, though. The rewinder would save you one less trip of the tape going through the VCR, therefore potentially damaging your playheads. So, yeah, there we go. Jennifer has figured it out. Or your stepdad did, at least. I'm sorry, Jennifer. Yes, your stepdad was right about something. I've had pretty good luck since I have gone back and rekindled my love for VHS. Um, I've yet to need to take one of my VCRs apart to clean it or to run even a head cleaner through it again. So now that I said it out loud, though, I've just jinxed myself. But hopefully that trend will continue. Man, I did this sketch so fast, like 15 minutes, and I just wasn't thinking at the time, I'm going to have to paint every single one of those fucking tapes. And now here I am, having to deal with my own creative choices biting me in the ass. All right. Because now we're only 4 tapes in. Holy crap. Why did I draw so many tapes? Of course, I don't have to paint every tape that I drew, but it'll make it'll make a better composition overall, you know, with all the detail in there. It's just one of those tedious things. But fortunately, I have you fine folks to keep me entertained while I paint. You can suffer vicariously through me as you watch me paint all of these fucking tapes. Pardon my language. And this is just the first pass. This is before I add any artwork or text to these tapes. So I will have to price this painting accordingly to the level of pain in the ass that it is to paint. Yeah, I've done a lot of group art shows before where it's movie themed. Um, and I'll do those if it's like a movie I like, or if there's a chance to do something kind of fun with the piece. I mean, it's got to be a movie I like, period, or I won't do it. But it's always a crapshoot because you can never, if you're doing an art show like this, all right, this is an art show and it's all based around one film. That means that anybody who buys a piece from the show is going to have to be a fan of the film to begin with. But if someone shows up that is a fan of this movie with the intention of buying art, I am now competing with every other artist in the show for their sale because they're all the paintings are going to be have the same theme. So that is to say, those kind of group shows, yeah, you can never premeditate a sale. Uh, so you know, even if it wasn't that kind of a show, you can never premeditate a sale anyway. So you might as well just paint what you like. Uh, Make the painting as good as you can so that you feel good about it and enjoy it. And then if someone does buy it, it's a bonus. But you just got to try to have fun with it because you never know if it's going to sell or not. Yeah, let's bring some more. Let's bring some more green in here. I kind of want to pop this tape out a little more. Four tapes down. Oh, look at that. Here's a small one here in the background. This one's coming right at us, so we're only seeing just the edge of this one. So this will be a quick tape. Let's just be a label on the side of it. So we're going to get away with a very minimal amount of detail on that one. There we go. Look at that. That was the world's fastest tape painting. Because oh well, I was going to show you this as an example, but this one, the label is peeled off. But VHS have a label on this side as well. So let's see, Michael says, that's with me when I draw trees on my fan manga. I am still working. Oh, you mean as in you have to paint a lot of trees? Or now the Mars attacks alien attacking him, or is he attacking them? Well, he's the only one in the painting subject-wise, but presumably he's attacking unseen people within this video store. And then there's some kind of an explosion happening behind him. So I would assume maybe there's more aliens outside that are blasting through the walls of this place, would be my guess as to what's happening. Although the viewer is certainly encouraged to make their own story. So, anyone who has joined recently, who hasn't sounded off in the chat, say hello. And if anyone is working on art while they're watching, let me know what you're working on. Also, out of curiosity, do we have any first-time viewers to the stream? Anybody who has never watched before? Say hello. Count von Backelwolfing is watching. Hello. Let's see, Blockbuster Hollywood Video or the neighborhood mom and pop video store. Which was your destination for video rentals? The mom and pop shop. Well, I would say when I was home, it was Blockbuster because that's what was in my neighborhood. But I did most of my video rentals when I would hang out with my uncle, and he had a mom and pop shop near him in Canoga Park, California, called Starlight Video, which obviously, like most video stores, does not exist anymore. So that was my video store of choice. And the people that ran that were really cool too, because as a kid, I was really into horror, and they would save all of their horror posters for me and hook me up with posters and standees and stuff like that. So that was really awesome. And I went through quite a large amount of their horror section over the years. Some non-horror movies as well, but I would say my rentals as a kid were 98% horror. I'm a little more varied in my viewing habits in my adult years than I was as a kid. When I was a kid, it's pretty much all horror. How about you, Count? Did you do Blockbuster, or are you too young for such things? Oh, Travis, the Selectivision discs, is that the capacitance disc thing, the CEDs? I remember those as well. Or is it something else? The Creative Fox is a first-time viewer. Well, thank you for tuning in and joining. Hope you're having fun. What is your medium of choice, Creative Fox? Just assuming from your screen name that you're an artist. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Because I realize that watching me paint tapes one by one has limited appeal for you guys, right? I'm sure I've lost people already just from painting tape after tape. Why don't I finish up the alien at least, right? So you guys can see a little more action. And then I'll get back into tapes. Actually, let me backtrack on that. Let me finish these tapes up here at least, and then I'll do the alien, and then we'll see where we're at. We're already an hour and a half deep into this painting, and I feel like I'm gonna bore the shit out of you guys if I do. If all I'm doing is painting VHS tapes. So yeah, let me burn through these four up here, and then we'll get into some alien action. Let's see. Michael says I rented at Video One before Blockbuster. Excellent. Count says mom and pop store, later Blockbuster. Preferred the former. Yeah, yeah. There's a place. I mean, I don't know if any of you live in the Santa Clarita Valley where I do, but there is a place called Video Depot in Santa Clarita, and yeah, they still rent tapes and as well as DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. But it is uh, one of the few places that still does. There's also a place in Burbank, California called Be Kind Video, and I'm actually not sure if they do DVD or Blu-ray there. They might, but they do have an excellent uh, VHS selection in both stores, rent as well as sell. So for anyone looking for for a place that happens to be in the area, let's give this one a yellow label. Just change it up. Yeah, I imagine what I'll do when I get into the detail on some of these tapes is probably the larger tapes. Maybe I'll go crazy with it and add some graphics or whatever, and then the smaller, more background tapes will just keep it like kind of blobs of color. Although I'll probably want to look at tapes from my collection and even for the ones that are just blobs of color, just to make it resemble some real tapes, so that if you happen to have those tapes, you might possibly recognize the blob of color. We'll see, though. Still a ways to go. Best laid plans of mice and men there. And this is not a well sketched out tape. I'm going to just fix that shape with some background paint here. Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Okay, 3 tapes to go. Then we'll do the alien, and he's going to have his little death ray gun. So we'll do that. Do the alien, do the explosion behind him, and then we'll be left with just tedious tapes, and I'll have to see at that point if anyone if anyone is stuck around still watching, for one, and if so, I'll have to measure my own desire to or willpower to just tediously paint tape after tape in one sitting. just had a meeting yesterday for another movie that won't be one that starts up for me because I'm always on, or most of the time on the post-production side. My work on that won't start up for months still, but it does seem like a cool one. Again, I can't tell you too much about it other than it has a lot of cool world building in it. It's like a sci-fi type thing, so it should be a lot of fun when it comes to the visual effects on it. And I'll say, working as a painter and then doing visual effects as well, just doing film work in general, the skill set of painting has applied to, or has helped me with so much of the other artistic pursuits I do in the film world. Just knowing how to paint really does, has influenced a lot of what I do when doing visual effects and design work and all kinds of stuff. So. And it's fun, of course. Even when we're just painting VHS tapes one after another, it's still a good time. I do miss painting live in front of an audience. I mean, obviously, that's what we're doing now. But I used to do a lot of conventions, and then also this live stream art autopsy used to be an in-person event at Hyena Gallery in Burbank. So one of these days I'd like to schedule another live painting thing, or since I still do convention appearances and stuff, maybe I'll just bring an easel with me one of these times and just paint there. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, that being said, speaking of conventions, the Hyena Gallery is doing another horror market at the Mayflower Club in North Hollywood on I think it's July 18th. So anybody in the Southern California sphere, come on out. It's a free event. They always have lots of cool vendors and special guests. I haven't seen the lineup for this one coming up in July, but I bet you it's gonna be cool, and I'll be there. So Oh, also, I have I'll have if all goes well, my target is to have a novel out on at that convention. So I've been working on a number of novels over the years, but I finally decided to knuckle down and finish a novelization for a film that I wrote and produced 10 years ago when we filmed it, and I just wrote a novel version of it because just to get me back in the gear of writing. The film is called Dry Blood. You can see it anywhere you see films. Yeah, I've been working on the novel for that and just getting that polished up. And if you come out to the Hyena Horror Market, that should be the first time I'll have it in print, and I'll be doing a signing there. So come on out. Let's see. Creative Fox says, right now I've been really experimenting with cross stitch, specifically on the plastic canvas. I've done a Mars Attacks design before, did a few other horror movie characters too. Oh, very cool. I have never done cross stitch, but I bet that would be cool. Where can our audience and me see your work? Question mark. Count von Beckelwolfing says, my mom and pop was an electronics store, Boulevard Electronics. They had a section in the back for the video rentals, $1 per tape, and you can hold it up for 3 nights. Nice, nice. Yeah, actually, my very first job, this is a weird job, but it's literally what I did. My very first job, I was assembling light up guitar picks. These were guitar picks that had little LEDs and batteries in them, and when you strum the guitar, the pick would light up. And it was the manufacturing happened in the back of a VCR repair shop. So yeah, there's been a lot of VHS related things in my life. And that is a very random job, but fun. Got to learn at an early age not only how to manufacture electronic things like that. Ooh, I just messed that tape up terribly. Um, but I also got to. They had a vacuum form machine. I would assemble the picks and then I would actually package them. So I got to learn about vacuum forming at an early age, which is a fun thing. You know what? Let's get crazy. I'm gonna throw a splash of blue in the background here too, and use it to help clean up the line of that VHS tape. All right, let's be honest. Some of these tapes look better than others. File this one under others. But all is not lost. This is a first session of a painting, and as you guys know, um, there is always more. There are always more sessions. I cannot remember the last time I finished a painting in a single session. And back when I would do such things, it was usually because I was just painting simpler subject matters, you know. Over the years, as I've, you know, got more and more joy out of painting, my paintings got more and more complex. I became less and less satisfied with the first passes on paintings, and I would revisit them over and over again, and then yeah, my paintings just got more complex and more time consuming. But the end result is that I would, you know, feel a lot better about them when they were done. I'll tell you. I want to show you my palette real quick again. Look how much paint I squeezed out, and look how little I have used so far. Um, a little wasteful on the paint, but I just wanted to show you this because I know oil paints can be expensive, but really a little bit does go a long way. And I'm not even painting thin on this. I'm painting relatively thick and just not using a ton of paint, you know. So um, yeah, a tube of paint can get expensive, but it can last you forever. I have some tubes of paint that I've probably had for 20 years and haven't gone through yet. And then other colors I'll go through, you know, black and white. I buy several big tubes of those colors every year. But a lot of colors, yeah, it'll take me years to get through them. All right, one more tape to go. Then we'll go back to the alien and move forward. Um, but yeah, with the novel, man, I've been having a lot of fun. I love writing. That's actually my favorite art form to to do, and also, unsurprisingly, the one I've had the least amount of success in, because I never really put a lot of focus into it. I mean, I've started a lot of novels. I've finished a novella before and 10 feature film scripts, but this will be, um, anyway, I'm hoping to get back in to do more writing and finish more novels because I have a ton I've started over the years, and working on the Dry Blood novelization has re-sparked my joy of writing. And as a bonus, I get to do a painting, that'll be the cover art for it. So that's always fun. In fact, we may end up on a future episode of my live stream here. I might end up working on the cover art with you guys so you can see how that shapes up. We'll see. To be determined on that. And we'll give this one kind of a salmon color label here, which is just the cadmium red light hue mixed with titanium white. Just to vary things up. All right. Those are quick and dirty, not quick, but dirty renderings of VHS tapes. Let's get back to our alien so we can have a little more fun along the way here. Let's see. Michael asks, did you ever do a painting in your life where you felt it did not look right to you? Michael, I have done hundreds of paintings like that, maybe thousands of paintings. I really don't know how many paintings I've done. I've done paintings in the thousands, 100%. But yeah, many paintings I've done that I don't like or didn't like. And, nowadays, or for a while now, for many years, I have I don't know if you would call it a strategy or maybe just axiom. Keep painting until you don't hate it. So now, just about every painting I work on, at some point in time while I'm working on it, I'll look at it and I'll go, I fucking hate this, right? But that's just the nature of creating things. But if you don't allow yourself to abandon it and you just keep painting until you no longer hate it, it helps you identify what you don't like about it, and then you just keep reworking it until you like it. Now, that being said, it's easier said than done. There are still plenty of paintings. I have stacks and stacks of paintings that I've started and did not finish, but I hold on to those unfinished ones with the idea that I will keep painting until I don't hate it. But yeah, plenty of paintings, man, plenty of paintings, and plenty of paintings I've done on the live stream that I don't think are good. But you just keep doing it. Just keep painting, and you do enough, and you're going to have a reasonable amount that you do like, and those are the ones that you get to show off. That's the only thing, with the live stream is, you get to see. You get to see my painting failures as well as my successes. But when you're just making art at home for yourself and you're not live streaming it, you don't have to show anyone any paintings that you have that you're not proud of. So there's really no pressure there. And honestly, I don't even feel pressure with it here, even though I'm live streaming and everyone can see when I fuck up. But, it's more about just the joy you have doing it. And while you're painting, if you end up in the process making something that you really dig, that's a bonus. But it's more about the journey, not the destination. It's the good time you have and the stress relief and the time away from other worries in life, or you can just sit in front of a canvas and zone out and just make something fun. But yeah, everyone. I don't know a single artist that has not made a painting or multiple, many paintings that they hate. It's just a hazard of the trade, right? But yeah, just keep going. Good question, though. Good question. Creative Fox says, watching this is inspiring me to pick up a paintbrush again very soon. You should. It's a lot of fun. And thank you for, I do appreciate you watching, and thanks for saying so. Michael says, because I have done that as well. Me too, just like with the masks. I did with 2 masks that didn't look right. Yeah, man. Yeah, I've done that with masks before too. I've started a ton of mask sculptures that um, I didn't even mold, sculpt them. Sometimes I've spent, months on a sculpture, and then it's just like, yeah, I'm not going to waste time molding it if I don't like the sculpture. But it doesn't take away from the fun that you have while you're doing it, though. So he's got these little kind of like purple metal things on. So most stumbling over my own words here. Most of his costume is green, and he's got kind of like these yellowish green gloves and boots, and then like the metal that holds up the tank is like this purple color too, which is going to fit great, obviously, with the color scheme that we're going with on the overall painting. So or I should say, rather, the costume informed the color scheme of the overall painting. I almost dipped my paintbrush in my water there that I'm drinking from, rather than my Terpenoid, but I caught myself at the last minute and didn't do it. When I drink coffee when I'm painting, that is that is when I am most likely to accidentally dip my brush in the thing I'm drinking. I have dipped a paintbrush in my coffee more times than I can count. But since we're painting at night, I ain't drinking coffee. And then as this layer dries, so once this is dry and I go back in, I'll be going back over everything. But one of the things, in terms of like what's happening with this costume right here, is I'll be really reinforcing the specular highlights across the metal and across the glass, just to try to really sell the material that each part of the costume is made of. Try to make the metal look a little shinier, the glass have the right kind of reflections from whatever the light would be in the room, as well as reacting accurately or quasi accurately to the explosion happening behind him, all of that fun stuff. His head is kind of wonky, isn't it? Yeah, I just leaned back in my chair just enough to see some parts of the shape of his head that are bothering me. I'm going to just go in here with a quick fix. Yeah, I just want to bring that out more. That's a little better, but yeah, the paint is still pretty wet on his face there, so I should probably stop, quit while I'm ahead on that, and revisit that later once this layer of paint is dry. Okay. Bill Holly is joining. Hey, what's up, Bill? Thanks for joining, man. How are you doing, sir? And are you making any art tonight, Bill? Tell us all about it. Tell me what you're working on. Man, my my sketch got so rough here. I started to kind of losing track of too many lines and no erasing. So trying to make sense of my sketch a little bit. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of backlit by this blast a bit. So I'm just going to throw in a little bit of red on the rim here, even though this won't be exactly physically right in terms of where the light would hit, but it will be interesting. Sometimes it's good to go for interesting over realism. All right, Bill is going to work on a painting. What are you painting? Anything fun? Anything fun and exciting, Bill? And I'm just using a little bit of the purple here to kind of outline this arm shape. Which is a choice that I may end up eventually painting over on a future session, but right now I'm just trying to refine what's happening with his arm. And I think I went a little too crazy with the width of his collar. Actually, I'm fucking lost in my shitty sketch here. What is happening? What is happening? Oh, okay, I see. I see what's happening. He's got like a tube that comes out of his chest and it connects down there. And I just happened to draw that also crossing over with where his glove is, and I got confused about my intention of my line work. So I'll get the glove in first, and then I'll worry about that metal piece on his chest after. Let's see, knuckles up there, fingers down there. Just kind of block those in shapes, and we'll refine those shapes as we go. And let's see, so this is, again, he's got these like oxygen tanks on. That's one and that's one. So I'm just Getting an outline in there for him. Just refining the drawing from my shitty sketch a little bit better, and then we'll get in there and color. And let's see. Okay, and then he's got some tubes coming down. All right. Cad red on the big block of color there, coming in with some cadmium yellow to give that some shape, and a little bit of titanium white, and then we got to carry the red over onto the other side of the glass. It's going to be diffused a little bit by the glass, so I'm just going to let that blend in with the background yellow a bit, and I let it be a little too red, but that's all right. Michael has to go to sleep. Hey, well, thanks for watching, Michael. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for keeping active in the chat, keeping me awake while I paint. Appreciate it. Travis says probably not oxygen in his case. Yes, that is probably true. Whatever aliens breathe. I guess if it were oxygen, he wouldn't need to be wearing it while he's on Earth. Good point. Bill says, working on a tentacle creature for hopefully a future print. A little distraction from sculpting. Excellent. Right on. And Bill asks what this painting is for. I've got a painting coming up in a group show, a Mars Attacks themed group show. So, so this is going to be for that. And they should be announcing the show soon. And then I'll be posting on all the socials about the event and stuff, but that's coming up in May. So figured since I had to do this painting anyway, that might as well do it during the live stream, because I'm amassing unfinished paintings at this point. So I have to when I have to do one for a show, I might as well combine it with the live stream. Kill two birds with one stone. I always end up jumping around. Like I started painting the arm, and then somehow I started painting this oxygen tank or whatever, whatever kind of tank it is, and forgot I was working on the arm. But eventually everything gets painted, so I guess it doesn't really matter. That's just the way it works for me. Went a little too bright on that white, but I gotta let that dry before I can correct that. And he's got like trying to get the little costume details in here, the ridges on the costume. Okay, unrelated to Mars attacks, but alien related. Um, oh, and I should have mentioned this while Michael was still watching because he likes animatronics. But for any of you folks watching that like animatronics, Spirit Halloween is going to be releasing a xenomorph animatronic this year. Pardon me. And they just showed images of it over the weekend, and it looks pretty awesome. And sadly, I don't think I have any room left for another animatronic in my life, but but I want it nonetheless. But yeah, probably won't be getting it, but I do look forward to seeing it in person. It looks like a pretty cool sculpt on it. Ah, Jennifer says apparently it's a nitrogen tank if the internet is to be believed. Well, the internet is always to be believed, isn't it? So these aliens are just huffing nitrous the whole time, I see. That checks, I guess, with their personalities. Oh man, we are already 2 hours deep on this painting. Time flies when you're painting aliens. And some of you folks have been here since the beginning of this painting, so thank you everyone who has stuck around to watch for any length of time. I appreciate it all. I don't know that I'm going to achieve total canvas saturation on this piece in the live stream. We'll see. I'll keep going till I drop, but well, that's not accurate. I'll keep going till I don't. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to get through the whole thing in one session like I had hoped. But it is certainly coming along, making progress. Yeah, I'm curious. It's always interesting to see when you're doing like a group show like this where it's kind of a very specific theme. It's always interesting to see what the other artists in the show do, um, what choices they make. Um, because no two artists are ever going to choose the same thing. And I will say, if you do find yourself in the situation of doing like a piece for a movie themed show, um, and you want to stand out a bit, the easiest way to do that is don't just take a still from the movie and paint the still from the movie. I mean, I've seen lots of amazing paintings done that way, but you run the risk of having a piece that looks very close to a piece that someone else in the show might do as well because they're using the same reference material. But if you do something with an original design or from your imagination, but using the characters, the scenes in the movie, you're more likely to have a standout piece, which is always the goal, right? I don't always achieve that, but I aim for it. Count von Bockelwolfing says, Richie, I think these guys are very sick. Excellent. So the chat is kind of quiet today. What's going on with you guys? Keep me entertained. Michael was like the main chatter for most of the night, and he's dropped off. So you guys gotta pick up the slack left over by Michael's absence. Someone tell me a story. Tell me something entertaining. Okay, so now we're gonna do his glove next, which is primarily going to be this yellowish green. But what I'm going to do for the main glove color, I'm going to take some of my green yellow, I'm going to mix it with my lemon yellow hue and make an even lighter green and have that as the base. There we go. Just block in the basic shape of his hand first, and then we'll get some details going after I just get this color across the shape. One finger extended out on the trigger, and then the other three fingers kind of grouped together into this one shape right there. It helps. I know a lot of people struggle with hands, especially when you're first starting out. So it helps to break things down into shapes. And then you can work the detail out of those big shapes. All I have are sad stories. Your AI assistant is nearly dead. Oh no. Why? What do you mean nearly dead? You brought him to life and now he is dying? Say it ain't so. he's gonna have some. I gotta add some texture in on his glove too, wrinkles and so forth. But that level of detail will come at the next pass here, or the next pass of the painting when it's not so saturated in paint. Just airing out all the time and barely responsive after the latest update. Good times. Oh, that sucks. All right, now I got to do his blaster. Question is, do I do a screen accurate blaster, or do I just do a fun ray gun? There's actually a few different blasters that they have in the movie. I don't know. I'll probably do some hybrid similar to the aesthetic of the film, but probably not completely screen accurate. Just kind of more of a 60s style sci-fi thingy. Let's draw it. Obviously, you can see I just drew a blobby, crappy shape. So let's yeah, we'll do something halfway in between the movie and just good old sci-fi. Trevor says, didn't you make one that looks similar? Well, I made this one. In fact, I have it back here. This is a fun one I made with a trip to the dollar store. This was made with $5 worth of parts from the dollar store. So that was a fun one. Yeah, as you can see, I love the old school kind of ray gun thing. So this was, I actually did a YouTube video on building this. Me and my buddy Anthony, who has a channel called Create Sci-Fi. We went to the dollar store. We bought like $5 worth of parts, and then we each made our own different ray gun designs with it. So yeah, so I do like a good ray gun, but yeah, it might be similar. We'll see. We'll see. See how it turns out. Brother BP, a ray gun of sorts, if you will. Hello, Brother BP. Yes, a ray gun indeed. Yeah, I really need to go back and watch that movie. I'll probably do that at some point in time during the process of working on this painting. Give it a rewatch and maybe get inspired to add in some new details that I'm just not thinking of at this moment. So if anyone missed the first part of the live stream, I went to Google Images and I grabbed a bunch of pictures, stills from the movie, pictures of costumes and stuff and toys, and put them into like collage for my reference here, just for the alien and costume and stuff. And there are several different blasters there, none of which really look like this exactly, but maybe it'll have a similar vibe. Let's see. Bill says went to a screening of Mr. Bitchin', a doc about Robert Williams. Oh, very cool. Got to talk to him for a moment. That's awesome. He's one of my favorite artists. Check out stuff out. A true outlaw of art. Yeah, I love Robert Williams' art. I didn't know there was a documentary about him though. That's really cool. So I take it that's a new documentary then, Bill? Is that correct? I'll have to give it a watch. He is kind of the yeah, I mean he's a legend. Count von Backelwolfing asks if I own any of the original Mars Attacks trading cards. If so, do you have a favorite design? I don't have those. Although, as I was researching before I started doing this, I did come across some images online. And yeah, they're pretty cool. But yeah, I don't have any. I mean, in all honesty, I do like Mars Attacks. It's not like one of my favorite movies or anything, but it is cool. I dig it. But I never got into collecting any of the related stuff because I wasn't that into the film. But I do like the character design and stuff. And I do like that the earlier era of Tim Burton films. Not, I mean, this is kind of a mid era of Tim Burton films, this particular one, but it's still um, I liked a lot of the stuff he was doing before he started doing a lot of remakes. Um, and then I didn't really get into any of the remakes that he made. Just do kind of this multi-layer of these ray gun cones coming out of it. Well, Travis, that's I wonder what happened to those ones they had at the Burbank Fries. Yeah, the Burbank Fries ones though, those weren't. Those were like a similar design, but they weren't specifically the Mars Attacks aliens. I don't think were they, or am I misremembering that? But those were cool, yeah, and yeah, all of the set decoration they had at that Fry's was awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I assume some collector has them somewhere. Let's see. Bill says it was a screening to promote the new show at the Long Beach Art Museum. It's on Fandango and Prime. Oh, cool. Excellent. I'll have to check it out. Count Von Backelwolfing Tops also did a series of cards called Dinosaurs Attack with some pretty sick images. Oh, cool. I'm going to have to check those out. Oh, yeah, I guess those could have been. Those could have been. Travis says he thought those aliens at Fry's were from the cards. Yeah, could have been. Let's see, we'll do two of these little antenna dishes coming out of here. This Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's pretty Mars attacky after all on the blaster thing. On the blaster front. All right, so here's the thing. I want this blast is going to be flamey, but I don't want it to get lost in this blast. So I think what I want to do is have all of the background explosion turn to the green and the purple or whatever before this so that they don't get lost in each other, which I guess is kind of how it's already set up. So that won't be too much of a stretch. All right. I might just get this blast in here and then call it a night. We'll see. We'll see. We made some good progress. Not as much as I had hoped, but not too bad either. I guess I had delusions of getting this whole thing, the first pass done on everything in one fell swoop tonight. But as it turns out, that was an overly ambitious idea. Got about halfway there. And what, we're 2.5 hours in, so that's not bad. So if you figure another 2.5 hours to get the first pass finished, that's going to have to, because I'm painting thick, that's going to have to dry for several days. And then I'll go back in and yeah, do some subsequent passes, add detail, spruce up the color a bit. All right, same thing as with the other blast. We're going to start with lemon yellow hue in the center. And I'm going to reinforce that bright spot with titanium white. And then we'll work our way out from there and make it get more orange and then more red at the end. So now we go into a cadmium yellow. And then we'll just take this cadmium red light hue. Yeah, things are getting pretty muddy with this. Too many colors stacked on top of each other, but that's a good start. It's a good start. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to call it. I think I'm going to call it a night. We made some good progress. Oh, cool. Bill won tickets to the premiere for Mars Attacks. That's awesome. That's right, Jennifer. I am still winning. I did start a day early, so yeah, there we go. Serena Roman Luna Nocturna. Hi, Clint. Late, but I'm happy I joined. Mars Attacks is one of my most favorite movies. I'm loving the painting. Well, thank you. Thanks so much for joining. You joined just in time to where I'm about to end the stream, but thank you so much. Glad you're digging it so far. A lot of work to go, but yeah, I think I'm just going to call it a night. I'm just kind of pooped for now. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you all watching. I'll be back again in 2 weeks. Please feel free, if you go to clintcarney.com, you can find links to my YouTube channel here and to my Patreon. I have a free tier on Patreon, so even if you don't want the paid version, the free tier will get you notified every time I do a live stream or if I do an in-person event and all that stuff. So I encourage you to sign up for that. And yeah, that's all. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a good night, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.